The following is a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 2.
Welcome to MRE UNO's Meteorological May here in D2. I'm your host G-Man, and we have had quite the slate today. But this will be our second stream match of the day, and it'll be one of our qualifier matches in a way with number 3 seed KingOfRed taking on number 14 seed Blake. Red looking to get that 5th win to secure himself in the LCQ. Blake looking to just get one on the board to start the season, start his season after a tough first half. Let's take a look at the schedule here. Had some wild games here. I mean, the first stream game of the day with Nifty and Lucas. Nifty ran away with that one, won that one, 4-1, moves on, gets their 3rd win of the season. Then Aiden Smith, Jordy, a big upset here as Jordy takes out Aiden Smith. Aiden Smith made back-to-back round of 16s in the past 2 tournaments, but now goes out in the round of 64, and suddenly Justice July becomes so much more important for him as he will need to win his first match there to at least keep his season alive. Jordy with the big upset moves on, able to capitalize on the cards there. And we just wrapped off with a crazy series that ended in 7. Arnhem Atomic game 7 went absolutely bonkers. A lot of chaos, a lot of mistakes, but ultimately Arnhem escaped with the win there. He moves on, gets his 4th win of the season. Now round of 32 match becomes a play-in game for him as he looks to lock up his LCQ spot, as KingOfRed right now is looking to do the same. And then, of course, we have one more match here in the Barometer region going on later at 7 p.m. tonight. It's another qualifier match with Cyan Titan taking on Hull. Hull 15C and Rookie looking to do what Jordy did earlier today. Cyan Titan looking to just ease the nerves and not have Justice July be a do or die. Let's take a look at the bracket. And this is the lower half again. Been an interesting round so far. This is more the earlier slate of things. Mark with the bye since we only have 59 players. Short gets the upset over Clint in a pretty chaotic game, especially game 5 where everything went to chaos, but ultimately Short was able to survive there. Clint, unfortunately, back-to-back tournaments, he's out in the round 64 after such a strong start in February. He's going to have a big run just July to keep his season going. And then, of course, you have Red and Blake going up next, and the winner of this will face the winner of Jamie Mazuat, which will be taking place at Saturday at 1 p.m. We'll see who gets the job done there, but for now, Red and Blake will get things rolling. We got a stream here. Tapir is not here yet. He'll be jumping in a bit, but we'll be talking to the players in just a second. Again, Blake a little bit new to this, since this is his first stream of his career, but Tapir will join in a bit, but before that, we'll go to the players here. We'll start with Red for the voice chat. I mean, you're 4-2 at the start of the season. I don't think the Archery April really went the way you were hoping for with that round 32 match against Sky. But you got a new slate here going up against Blake, who hasn't had much success so far this season. What is the mindset going into this to try and get the win here, secure that LCQ playoff spot, and be able to just keep your momentum going as you've made it out of the first round in both tournaments thus far? And then for Blake, we're going to send the pre-type question. Yes, we could hear you.
Okay. Could you repeat the question again, please? I cannot hear it clearly.
Okay.
Like
Sorry,
a little
my
bit low.
my throat's a little raspy, but I mean, Archery April didn't quite go the way you were hoping for with the round of 32. But what is the mindset here to go in, get the win here, secure that playoff spot, and just keep your momentum going as you've made it out of the first round of the first two tournaments so far?
Like yeah, the first two, the especially yes, the rotary tour of the archery April weren't so good for me. Yeah, the cards weren't in my favor. So to for this match, I'm looking forward to actually take advantage of the cards that I am going to get and make sure that it is going. I play it optimally with the number efficiency and all that stuff.
All right, and then the question for Blake here, just sent it there as Tapir joins. Blake has been the best start of the season so far, but you go into this match with somewhat nothing to lose mentality. Compared to what Red's currently at, what does that different mindset do for you here? And then we'll see what he says as I am joined by our natural driver here in Tapir. Tapir, how are you doing?
Perfect. How are you, G?
That is great to hear. Just want your general thoughts on this upcoming game here, Red versus Blake. Red looking to secure their spot in the playoffs. Blake looking to just get on the board this season after going 0-2 to start.
Well, obviously, both these players have enough experience to get the job done, right? Red and Blake, I know from UUL, they've been solid players. I think they have the skills to take it home tonight, this afternoon rather. I think Red's going to be looking for somewhat of a early finish here. An early, perhaps a sweep or a 4-1 would give him the lead pretty soon. So that's basically what we're going to be looking for today. Obviously, anything could happen. We could even see a game 7, as we saw with the last match there with Arnhem and Atomic. So lots of things could be going on tonight, and I'm eager to see it get underway.
All right, here's what Blake has to say here. Honestly, while that is my mindset going into this, is not as upsetting as I was expecting. This is my first season with the within the MRE, despite my experience with the other UNO leagues. I'm learning, adapting, and have pulled off some decent plays. Hope to pull off a win here against Red. If I can't, I'm not going to go down without a fight at least. And then wishes Red good luck before the match. All right. I mean, with that being said, I think we get things going. Leo will be our ref for today. But she can feel free to get things going for game number 1 here. Red will have the call. Right, there we go. But yeah, I just was quickly adjusting my mic here. That should be a bit better now. So hopefully we won't have any issues with that. I know there was some people saying I was a little quiet, but hopefully that should be fine. But Red's gonna start things off with 12 here. Tapir, any thoughts on this?
Just how the match is going to go as we start off with Red 8 and on Red for
Oop, Tapir cutting out a little bit, but yeah, we are starting
good now.
this off.
Going for Red on Red here.
Yeah, should be good now. Yeah, this is the color Red likes. And Blake is gonna deny it, but Red's gonna have the crossover ready. Short is showing his enthusiasm for the drive right now.
Driving into yellow here. Mellow yellow. Here comes Blake for a possible rainbow.
I mean, you kind of see what Blake's doing here. He is starting this off a little slow here. Doesn't want to jump right into this game, so just taking his time a little bit to make sure he's placing down these cards carefully, and especially if it's a run, also just making sure he has it right. And I mean, there you go. Uses the no you as well, and has the +4 early. But it does go back to the red, which is the color that Red feels comfortable on, and you see that right there with the triple play.
It's very interesting, though, because Blake did want the blue earlier, but now he says no to the blue, goes back to the red. So we might be seeing a switch to blue later in the game.
Maybe could have had
there
it really,
is.
yeah, I mean, there's the blue there. Gonna test it a bit here. It could have
A little
been
bit
just...
of a blink from Red there.
Oh, he has Ditto. Okay, so first Ditto of the match. And then Red's gonna double up here. as we are tied. And Blake's going to have a double up of his own here as he goes one down. You know, keeps things rolling here. Blake looking to get the play down. Another number here. Just kind of drilling the numbers. And that's second +4 of the game. This time from red here. So going to green.
That's interesting. That does open up Pandora's box. And something I'm really seeing from red here is a very, very fast pace. It's something that I think Blake is going to have to account for. How is he going to adjust the speed of this match here when he's going to have to think about... Red is really going aggressive here. There's a yellow switch with a wild. I'm wondering if this is just the loose, aggressive, and fast play trying to rattle Blake here.
I think he is trying to jump ahead while he's at it to try to get a quick play off, but we'll see if Blake has a response. He is thinking about this for a bit, and that is going to be a massive play. It's going to be a +12.
Oh, wow.
Gets completely thrown back, and now it's back to 15. Red is a little bit perplexed by that, but yeah, not really much for now. Blake down to 3 here.
We were really seeing a battle of the ammo come out in game 1.
Yeah, just keeps the red running. Can Blake get down to Uno? No, he cannot. Does get the top deck though on the red 0 though. It's gonna be a draw from red here. This is gonna be a tough switch for Blake, and he's not gonna get it. So first draw city incoming.
The crazy thing is, red has 14 cards and he's drawing. I wonder if he's fishing for ammo, realizing that there's not much left.
I mean, we've seen a lot of red in this early game, so a lot of them have been used up. So I mean, this red might becomes weaker as we go along, but getting some occasional top decks here and there. But I think red's partially looking for ammo, but I also think he's partially looking for a different answer here.
First 5 of the game there, followed up by yellow 5. So we're getting out of the reds here. An undercut from Blake into blue. Possible rainbow here again. Let's see if that potential becomes a reality.
Would need the green here. But yeah, red's gonna keep it on blue for now. Again, he's gotta play wise with this. Doesn't necessarily need to go for the glamour.
Blake down to 2.
I'm really curious what red has here in these remaining cards here, because we're not seeing a lot of ammo right now.
Possible game ending? No. Back up to 3, and now red can run down the blue.
Now, the thing here with Blake being down to this low number of cards here is he's in a position where he could benefit off a top deck here. So that's really the main thing red is concerned about here. He's just trying to find these draws as quick as he can to prevent a situation where Blake could just top deck a +4 or something and then end the game right there. So it is a precarious situation though, especially if you're in a spot where like you have a run and you don't want to fully use it yet. And I mean, see there's some ammo right there with a +2. But yeah, red is slowly bringing it back here, but Blake is still slowly going down. Again, I mean, for me, it seems like Blake's hand is really spread out across the colors here. He doesn't really have a lot of unification, which is a kind of a bit of a problem here, especially if he wants to get the win here. Try to go to green, but red's gonna close the door on that.
And that I think is very telling, G, because Blake, you would think, has some green left in the back pocket, but red doesn't want that. He wants to stay, I think, run down the colors very methodically at this point in time.
Red already has red looks like he already has a pre-type here, so it might be a quick play here. Could maybe be the other yellow 6, possibly. No, it's actually gonna be a green 6. Now we go in the green.
So he's still fishing for that green. And that goes back to what I said, G. He's looking for a very fast pace. He wants to be very decisive at this first game here.
Oh, now we are tied, but Blake still has possession arrow. Ooh, and it's going to be a +2 and then a wild blue, so Gets a bit of a slap in the face there, and now we go into blue. Red up to 7 now. What does he have? Does he want to roll with his blue? He does roll with the blue for a second, but it's only a +2. Leaves the door open though. Blake just gonna close it and gets a top deck wild. So
Goodness gracious.
yeah, wilds have been very very active in this game thus far. That's gonna be a
Oh,
big run here. Down to 2.
and just like that, he takes over the lead. Blake looking to catch up now.
Really close one as we go down to the wire here. Could
If
Red
Red throws
potentially...
another wild, if Red throws
Oh, he
another
has a
wild,
+4.
oh
There it
my
is.
gosh.
Yeah, there's the +4 to end it. But we saw a lot of wilds on that one. I mean, 6 wilds in total, 3 from each. So, Blake was down to 2 cards there and didn't quite get the finish. But yeah, I mean, for Red there, double +4 starting hand. But I mean, Red, you had that good hand, but I mean, it was getting close at times. Thoughts on the patience there to not pull the trigger early and being able to hang on and get the win to open up the match?
Yeah, yeah, all right. After that +12, I believe. Yeah, it was +12, right? Yeah, triple +2. Let me check. I know for sure, sorry, it was triple +2. So yeah, like, like I believe that, yeah, most of them were like number cross. So yeah, I knew that they didn't have anything left. So yeah, I just played the patient game. And yeah, that turned out well for me. So yeah, I take it, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be a pretty good opener for game 1, honestly. Is that really went down to the wire, but I mean, you've heard from Red there. Was trying to just be calm there and was able to get it done. And I mean, you said that we saw some of the pace there, be on the faster side, so was able to use that to his advantage at points. But yeah, for Blake, we'll see what he says as we ask for his takeaways. As I can't type on mobile, so that's fun. There we go. But yeah, Tapir, any thoughts on that game 1? I mean, one a decent amount of time, but Red's going to be the one who ultimately walks away with that one.
Well, I think the biggest takeaway there is you can't really get too comfortable, right? Because, you know, sending Red back to, what was it, 15? And then slowly whittling it down, and then he got the win. So I think for Blake, he's not out of it yet. Obviously, this is still only game 1, but that is going to be a little bit of an adjustment for him to see. You know, it is possible, there is potential to get that sort of mini comeback, and hopefully just try and get the win as soon as he can that way.
Right. Honestly, didn't do much wrong in my opinion. Reacted well as I could. All right.
Yeah, I mean, and he saved his good cards and stuff too, but you know, it's just that Red kind of had the momentum to keep it going for as long as he needed.
Both got decent cards, but Reds were better in the end. But yeah. We'll see how this evolves as we go to game 2 here. Though Blake has, I think, one last comment here. Yeah, Red's still gonna have the call here. Just can't pick 12.
While we're waiting, I'm going to throw to Leah for a little bit. Leah, as the original master driver, how do you feel about watching these drives?
Let's see. Okay, now I have to see if I work on what is how to improve game 2 in the rest of the match. Just creepy on the other side of the drive watching. Can't wait to watch in the booth tomorrow.
Absolutely. Other side of the velvet rope there.
That is how it be. That is how it would be sometimes. But it's gonna go 1 down for 11 here for game 2. And we're underway with the red 9. This is the second time we start with red here. And red's gonna actually switch right away this time.
I was going to say it was a red dominant match, but that doesn't seem to be the case now.
Ooh, Blake has the crossover ready though, so denies the yellow, goes into green, and Red's gonna agree with it. Goes with a ditto. Not the thumbs up. There we go. And there's the blue, so almost had a potential rainbow there, but double green 9 kind of breaks that up. Skittles in spirit, yeah. But Blake has a really early draw on the blue here. So that could be a problem for him.
I'm just going to jump ahead real quick. G, what are your thoughts on, talk to me about how quickly you have to manage like a two-color game?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
how would you possibly manage like a two-color game this early in the series?
for a two-color game, especially on your end, it's kind of tough, especially when you're on the other side. I mean, the real big thing is you got to find those quick switches there, and then from there you got to play in a way you got to play defensively for the most part. It kind of switches to where you are when you're the one on the colors that you don't have. You gotta play aggressive, and then when you have your colors, you gotta make sure you're on the defense there. Just make sure that switch doesn't happen. So, not quite sure if we're there yet. Blake doesn't seem like he has much blue here, so he's gonna look for that quick aggressive switch. Okay, he actually is at two color now. So red and blue is gonna be a struggle here, but you're gonna see Blake a lot trying to go for those aggressive switches there to try to get things on his side.
Perfect, Jan. And expect a couple undercuts as well, because with those two-color games, you're going to have sort
Ooh.
of like a tug-of-war going on between both sides there. As now we see red going to that blue zero sugar.
Yeah, red has
Now
been
it's going to
able
be
to.
picking up the pace a little bit here.
The big thing for red is he's been able to roll on this blue and red, this blue here. But again, you see another switch here from Blake, and now he looks to take the offense. But the thing is also, you got when you have that two color, you got to consider also when your opponent has those colors as well, because sometimes one of the colors might be a little bit more dangerous than the other. So sometimes you want to go for an early switch there. But really, it's not about just running down one color down. You just got to manage it back and forth. But red down the two,
That's
and I
true.
mean, you see a triple there from Blake. Didn't want to risk it, and red's gonna draw here now. So that's really what Blake needs to find here. Find that draw and then take advantage of it.
That's true, yeah. As we see red with the yellow 7 there, switching to yellow. They did kind of dance into the green a little bit there, but now we're going off into the yellow. Here comes Blake. He's looking for something here. That's a good point, G, there with going back and forth on the two-color game, because a lot of times I call it playing Minesweeper. If you've got just one color, you got to pick the right numbers to make sure your opponent can't switch on them. And that's nearly impossible to do because you just don't know what your opponent has.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of this is really guesswork. So just got to be careful with it. But Blake places the right color down this time and keeps it going. Red with a top deck yellow 5 though. And sometimes those top decks can be a little helpful for the player who's in the position of keeping things running, because that guarantees no switch there, but it also could be something that kind of messes you up when you want to switch at that specific moment. So for now, it works out for Blake, but red is going to get the switch there. With Blake, Blake gets to check on green wild. Gonna force the pressure on red. He doesn't have it, and Blake, with the wild hold, is going to be able to take game 2 here. There it is, green 3. And that will make it 1-1 here. So yeah, Blake on the board here. Red reverse, blue reverse. Okay, so was 1 away there.
Yeah. And see, kind of right there with the number efficiency, with that red 1, sometimes you can kind of see red wanted that drop into blue and then slide right into red to end it, but he just couldn't get there. So sometimes you really got to use that number efficiency to kind of work backwards and get that red 1 into that double reverse combo. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time, but sometimes that's what you really have to do.
Yeah, I mean, Red mentioned it here. It could have power play there. I mean, we'll go to Red. Any thoughts on not power playing there with the win 1 away? But anything you take away for this first homestand as you do get a split?
Yeah, so yeah, I just didn't expect that he had a Y or something. Yeah, yeah, I guess the play there and pray that he didn't have anything, but yeah, that's it.
And then for Blake, on the board, had the wild save to the end. Any comments on the first two games? He did not take over the homestand. Yeah, Blake is now on the board here. But looking to take the lead here, which he did do in his April match against Acel before. Things ultimately didn't go his way afterwards, but I believe he's
Honestly,
lost both his games 2-4 so far, so he's looking to try to get the 3 to put himself in a potentially good position based off trends.
yeah, we'll see what happens there. Honestly, I really don't. I really didn't expect that power play because you only have the one for this series. It's only a best of 7. You don't have 2. If you did have 2, then there's a lot of times then we would see a power play early in the match. But you only have the one, and I think the absolute minimum personally that I would use a power play is game 4 if I was up 2-1, because as I always say, 3-1 with 1 game left to win is a lot better than 2-2 with no power play. So I would just say that game 4 for me at a minimum. Earlier than that, you just have a lot more game to have to play, and not having that power play is a little bit tricky, especially if you know your opponent still has theirs.
I'm just gonna adjust this for a second for the stream.
Successful game 2 power play from Jordy. Yeah, so obviously there can be exceptions, but for unconventional strats is absolutely right. That's a good thing about Uno. There is so many different play styles that something that you really wouldn't expect might actually be detrimental to you because you're just looking for some other play style that's much more common, and then you don't really have that kind of leeway to go back and forth there. Blake taking that unconventional approach here. He's going to go 5 to start off game 3. It is going to be his first homestand for this series.
We saw the 5 have mixed results earlier today. Jordy did try it, but ultimately Aiden got the win there. But I know Leah's thrilled with a no send. As we get, that's another red. We've gone 3 for 3 and starting on red here for these games.
The fascinating thing for Blake is he said in his quote here, "Now that I take over the homestand, I can't take my foot off the gas." And then he proceeds to do what could possibly the least.
Speaking of not taking your foot off the gas, Brad has already done the 2.
All right. Well, there you go. Sometimes you just, where is it? Let's go gambling. That's what you have to do on a 5-star.
Blake jumps from the immediate power play here, so gonna jump on the power play right here. Might have foiled red here. Okay, I don't hate that. It just depends on what, and that's gonna actually be a massive block here. So that might actually end up backfiring for Blake. Depends on what he has here in these last 2. No, he has the wild of his own actually, and it might work out perfectly. Wow. That's gonna be the second wild win for yellow +2 that's another one there as well and that's the second game in a row where red could have power played and just didn't jump on it. Actually, no, wait, no, we couldn't have because it would have been back to back. So wouldn't have been able to power play there, but I mean that's the second time that Blake gets the jump, and Blake is up 2-1 there. And yeah, I mean, again, we talked about using the power play early. Blake jumped on it and got the win there, and that could have been a massive. That actually ends up being a massive difference there because red likely would have had the game finished there, assuming the +2 is not the extra draw. Drew a Watt, yeah. So that would have been the game. So that's actually where an early power play actually changes the course of the game there. So Blake kind of in a way steals one. I mean, Tapir, any comments on that?
No comments. Yeah.
To
It
Pierre,
was so, yeah.
yeah. To Pierre, any comments? I think To Pierre's having issues.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
This dang mic. Okay, so just overall comment, right?
Yeah, because I mean, really, the way we looked at it there, I mean, Blake kind of stole one there with the power play, and I mean, that's kind of that's something I really like using in a D1 where I go for the early power play that kind of changed the course of a game where. Without the power play, I really wouldn't have won it, but in that case, with the power play, you do. So, I mean, we just saw that right there. Blake definitely stole one with the power play. Any comments on the usage there? And a really well placed one as well.
Well, I mean, I think, well, I guess two takeaways here. Number one, his comment about no other way out is pretty much true because when you're playing a 5 card game, starting with 5 cards, you do not have a lot of options. So you kind of do sometimes have to use that power play as an escape hatch if you need it. Other times, if you have like all numbers, there's no way. There's too many ways to go about it. But I think that power play at that specific time was a really good usage, and it's a good way to get to kind of steal that game and get up 2-1. But I think that the 5 card start there and winning on it with the power play, it kind of proved my entire point wrong about how those unconventional strats that you might see kind of just got the win right there. And it's something that we'd have to look out for because, back and forth with the Wilds, you don't really see that, especially only on a 5 card start. And so now that he's going again to the other side of the margin there with the 15, it's going to be a little bit of a different play style now because it's going to be a lot more thought out. And there's going to be basically infinite directions that you can go with a certain game. So with Blake not having his power play now and Red still having his, I think that is going to shift the dynamic a little bit. And it might just be that Red is going to have to use this power play to get up back to the tie game and then force a best of 3 going into the game 5.
All right, we'll see how that goes, but Blake's gonna have his second call here with game 4. He is gonna go 15, so we do got the full send. But I mean, a win here would be big for Blake because I mean this is the threshold that he's been at the last 2 series. So if he could break through and get that third game win, that could be big. But Leah, feel free to lower it up there.
I'm going to need a couple minutes. I got to switch my devices. I'll be right back.
All right. In that case, then we'll begin with the solo commentary, and we got our first non-red start of the game here. Goes with blue this time, but I think that's our second 2. Like, could be wrong on that. Blake's gonna keep it on blue here. The red will as well. Goes with the 0. And I think this is the longest we've ran a starting color here, as both players choose not to switch on the first 2 turns. But Blake has ran out here, and especially on 15, that is not really what you want to see. As red is now going to take advantage and keep things going. Now Blake's going to have to play aggressive here to find that switch here, because the blue clearly ran dry early on that initial start, and goes to the red. Red's going to have it cover the blue 1. Does Blake have a potential crossover to a different color? Yes, he does. Green 1. So good to get out of the blue for now as we go green. And now it goes back into the red. That's what he originally wanted, but got denied the first time, but is able to get it here. Red's gonna comply with it this time. Now Blake looking to get things rolling on the red. But red, I mean, again, red is playing pretty quick here as 3-card run into the yellow now. Gonna force Blake's hand here as he goes back into green once again. A good decent amount of color switching here. Red's still yet the draw thus far. It's really what Blake's looking for at this point. Gonna try to find that draw from red, and then work with that. And there it is. Draws on the green here. Now we'll see what Blake does. Goes with the green 3 and then wild yellow. So that might have been another top deck wild from red here as we go yellow. Just running the numbers right now. Blake's ran out on yellow. Red looks to keep it going. Blake looking for that switch here. He's gonna. That's gonna be. I think that's back-to-back top deck wilds. So that's a bit. That's kind of crazy. But we go to red now. And red's gonna do the power play here. So doubles up there. No more power plays for the rest of the series. And then wraps it up with the +4. So red just gonna wipe the slate clean here. And now we have no more power plays for the rest of the series. Red, talk to me your thoughts on using the power play there. Because now we got a clean slate for these last 3 games potentially.
Yeah, like when it was he like Blake changed to the red wine, so yeah, like my plan did mess up a little bit, like with all the cards I had, like yeah. If it were yellow, I could have saved the power play, but yeah, like it was a good opportunity to finish, so I couldn't save it. Like there were still too many risks getting into 2 cards, so I just power play and finished it.
All right. I do want to ask also, was that on that draw, was that a wild top deck?
Yeah, a white like it was.
So
It was a while.
okay, yeah. So I think both players actually end up getting a wild top deck after a draw. So that's kind of funny, but ultimately Blake's actually no, not really. Blake's kind of was gonna delay the inevitable, but then red used the power play to just make it the same as it would have been. But yeah, game 5 here. Winner of this goes up 3-2, but there is no power play, so you don't really got to worry about the hold it till the final series to close it out. But this is going to be crucial here, as you want to be able to be the one that gets up here. Just gonna wait to see what Blake has to say here before we jump into it. But that homestand was a lot of quick games as well. Nothing over 3 minutes. But for Blake, watch the combos with any kind of card build up and more seems during the initial games. Fred likes to stack his cards in the combos, and it helps that he gets the cards he needs for it. And then he's saying something else here. But Tapir, any thoughts on that game there and Red using the power play to make it clean for the rest of the way?
Well, I guess that was something I wasn't expecting there. Quick power play, back-to-back power plays, back-to-back games there. But it is going to make it a best of 3 to finish out the series. So we'll see what happens there.
All right, using the Rana strats here, DMing the bot. Although Joe was not part of the game here, so I mean every player does it, but I've noticed these initial games have given Red some pretty good combos. All right, well Red's gonna have the call here for game 5. We'll see what he decides on, but gonna stick it high. Just goes with 14, so 1 down. Second time he's going 1 down here in the series. And we start with the green once, so like feeling some voodoo here as we get an immediate switch to blue.
I believe that's our second immediate switch from red there.
It is. Blake's gonna go with it. Double blue 4 here, so there's a ditto. And 1 up this time for the blue 5. And okay, Blake has well, that's a ditto in a way, as both play double blue 5, both have blue 5 and blue 9 of both cards. So really running down the blues here.
That we call a ditto sandwich. Double decker ditto sandwich.
And that has caused red to go full here as he draws on blue. And Blake draws as well, so blue runs out for both players here. Enter a potential mini draw series here, or draw city.
Just a little bit there. Looking for a top deck.
It is ultimately what these players are going to need. Going to get the top deck switch to green. Now, both players should be able to get rolling again. And there we go. Back underway. Red with the lead, though. Only possession arrow. Another ditto there. I mean, we've had a quick pace so far. Not a lot of ammo, though. Could be saves from both sides as we continue to run down the green. This is pretty much a 3-color series here now, as both are looking to take advantage of the cards they have left, but you gotta wonder when this ammo starts coming out here. I haven't seen any of it so far. Do you see us switch to red, though? Now we run red. Only yellow has not made an appearance yet. From top to bottom, red. This is not the red one. There's the yellow right there.
I'm noticing Blake is really starting to get used to the pace here as we get closer or further and further into the series.
Yeah, I mean, he was just feeling himself in those first few games, and that's a huge run there. 5-card run there as he throws a +2 on the top of it. And red is now down to 2 cards. Blake up to 9. Now you gotta wonder if Blake has that ammo. We might start seeing it here. So that was a big aggressive pull from red. Yeah, and there it is, +4. So I think he held that +4 there. Didn't feel safe. Went for it there, and now we are relatively even here, but red does have a slight lead still. Oh, and now Blake takes the lead, splits his goes down to 4 here. Again for red, look, he saw what happened to Aiden earlier today, hoping to not have the same happen to him here, but another switch here, goes into red. Blake might get the win here. There's a preemptive GG here, but it's not over until it says good game, the game is over. And we've seen that before. +4. Double plus. Oh my lord.
That's a massive drive. Massive drive from Blake.
And that's another situation where red was 1 away. Wow. I mean, that's 3+4. That's 3 +4s from Blake in that one, but man, ultimately, again, the game, it was 1 away from red once again, and I mean that kind of goes back to the conversation of when and where you use the power play. I mean, you could have maybe used it there instead of the last game, but last game has secured him the win. This game maybe could have gotten the win, but I mean, it's kind of all about that placement there. But again, red has been really close in a lot of these games, just has been one off in a lot of them. But yeah, Blake up 3-2, 1 away. Red gonna have to win these next two, win the next two to get the series win. Thoughts on what the mentality is for game 6 and 7, especially game 6 where you won't have the card start?
Like, it's important because, all of my previous game that have never happened to game 7, so it's not, it's very hard for me. So yeah, I have to stay, keep cool and make sure to get it done.
Alright, Blake's gonna go 7 here for his game 6 call, but for Blake, we'll ask him what his mindset is here, because he is gonna be 1 away. But we might be in a situation where this could be the second upset. This could be the second upset of the day, for someone who needs 1 more win to at least secure that playoff spot, which will make Justice July even more interesting. If red does not win here, because that'd be 2 players in that spot. But for Blake, don't jinx it. Don't jinx any of it. I mean, that's fair enough, but Still got to win one more game. Pray to the RNG gods. Pray to the RNG gods and to my Uno skill. All right. Well, I think we're good to go for game 6 here. Blake just hoping for the best at this point. Gonna start with the OG start though. Tapir, any comments here? This gone the way you were thinking was, or is this throwing you in for a bit of a loop here with how this is played out?
There's my comment, G. There's my comment.
It ain't over.
Not over till it's over here. We have 2 games left, and there's still a lot of game left to play. 3-2 is not really, you know,
0.
that bad. Could be worse. Could be worse.
Green to the start. Switch the blue to red away. Wasn't feeling it on the green. Skim 7. You could definitely be in a situation. And we got a crossover to yellow now. Do we see the rainbow here, or does red have yellow? He has yellow, so I mean this is gonna be important for red here. I mean, no one has power play, so we're not gonna see a power play finish, but this game could end at any time. Especially with how quick this is started. Both players are already down to 4 cards.
And we have been seeing a fair number of drives today, so I think we aren't out of the way to get another one.
Both are stopping here though on yellow, which I mean I don't think it's the worst spot for both players here. Blake's gonna try to get something going on the yellow 4 though. Red draws. Can Blake get the switch? No, he cannot. Alright, let me keep drawing. This is going to be a tough spot for both players to be in, especially with the constant draws. I mean, red places down to 0 here. Could try to find a switch here. Doesn't end up getting it, but early draw city is going to kind of reshuffle the deck here. But any comments on what both players might be feeling right now, especially with a lot on the line here? Oh, red gets the blue 0.
Well, I mean, it'll be on red to get both 2 matches. I think he is going to start feeling the pressure. Obviously, this is going to have big implications for him. But I think Blake's analysis of past games is going to be what gives him the upper edge. So we're gonna
This has
see
been a
how
quick
this
game here.
unfolds.
Wild green here, 3-3. Red hoping for something here, 2-3 now. Tries to play a green 6. Both players are down to 2 now. And the +4 is gonna end it. Wow.
Ooh,
So game
we
7.
are into a game 7.
Wow. And that could be a situation where maybe Blake ends up being the one that gets beat to the punch that time. But Red able to survive that one and now forces the game 7 here for all the marbles. But Red, any thoughts on that one? Because there were definitely points where it was looking to possibly play out similar to how some of this series has gone thus far.
Like, yeah, I have no comment here because, yeah, one of the role that I had got wired for all top deck, so it is what it is. I was lucky in that situation, so, and yeah, I finally got away with it.
Right. For Blake, we'll get his thoughts here. I mean, this is gonna end up being the last game of the series here. Green 7. Okay, so he would have been in a bit of a tough spot there. He would have got the Uno, but not be able to finish. Well, unless Red for some reason swapped into Red, but I mean, he probably wouldn't have anyways, unless it was a wild. But yeah, it was in a bit of a tough spot there, anyways.
Probably for Blake, the only thing you can hope for there is a top deck. To be completely honest.
Drive watchers really are on the same wavelength there, but
Amen to that, brother.
But yeah, thing 1, thing 2. All right, well, Blake just kind of locked in for Game 7 here. We're going to see what the call is from Red. This is going to be for all the marbles here. Red fighting for his spot in the playoffs. Blake looking to just get his first career win. Going to all come down to this here, as Red will have the ultimate decision here. I'm curious where he goes. I mean, he's been liking the high card starts so far, but I don't know if he'll repeat on anything. Oh, he's gonna go for another full send here. Now, this is gonna be the first time we go back on one. He did win on the first full send here. We'll see what happens on the second. Have to get things going here for game number 7. And we are underway here, the blue 2. Another 2 to start out, but only like this, I think only the second or third blue. Gonna keep it on blue for now. I mean, blue did not work out very well for Blake last time. He drew after 2 plays on this start last time for 15. So he's hoping to at least get a quick switch here or have a little bit more on blue this time.
Obviously, for a 15 start, there's a lot of options here. It could be that one or both of these players' hands is just half blue, and we see blue run for an insanely long amount of time.
I mean, that could be a possibility.
That's the thing with 15 starts.
There is a possibility. We've seen that before, but I mean, also you're in that spot where if you're the opposing player, it's like you don't really want to see that. And I mean, Blake's gonna jump early here with the 3-card switch into yellow.
Running down the yellows here.
Really wild to jump on that with the green. And Red's gonna deny it with the yellow wild of his own. Did Blake have anything left in the back pocket? No, he did not. So now Blake's gonna have to look for that switch while Red plays on the yellow. And that's gonna give him the lead right there. Oh, and he found the switch right there. Goes into green there. Does Red have the crosser? He has another wild. That's going to be another draw from Blake. Can he get the switch once again,
Very
though?
aggressive on the wilds here. Really wants that yellow. And that could be 2G. It could just be that Red has half yellow or all yellow. You don't know with the spot.
Blake had the top deck yellow 6 there.
Still running dry here.
Needed to find a switch there.
Alright,
Didn't get it.
That's it. That's it. GG to play.
Alright, Red's saying it's over. Double wild there seemed to come in clutch here. And that is going to do it, yeah.
And yeah, Red.
Insane, wow.
That's
ends with the red there. Red ending with the red. There you go.
Yeah, big run to the end there with the 4-card, plus the +2, and then to the +4 in red there. But yeah, unfortunate for Blake there. Came close to the win, but Red was not going to be denied here. Red gets the win here, gets the 5th win of the season. He will be in at least the LCQ, so gets the job done. But Red, any comments on the win here? It was definitely a close fight, but I know you were a little concerned about this match heading into it. But any comments on getting the win here and at least securing your spot into the LCQ at the very least?
Very easy. I'm happy to get the LCQ win here. At least regarding the game, Blake will fought well to the end, and at the end, I was the one who was luckier and managed to get the game done. So it is what it is. But I do wish Blake to get a good run in the next tournament in just July, and maybe I think he will be able to get his first career win there. So good luck to him moving forward. Okay.
All right. There's a comments there from Red for Blake. Unfortunately, came up a little short here. I mean, made it to Game 7 this time around, but ultimately, does not close out the Game 7 there. Comes up just a bit short, but still a really good showing for him nonetheless. But unfortunately, just has not really been the season for Blake here. But I mean, again, we talked about it at the start. It's a nothing to lose mentality here. So Blake just kind of looking to play spoiler here. But in terms of the playoffs, gonna have to make the Final Four in just this July if he wants to be there. But it's gonna be a very tall task. And again, difficult loss for Blake. I mean, definitely came up close there, but just did not seem like he had the cards to be able to counteract the double wild from Red there at the end. Spear, any comments on this one? Red gets the job done. Comes the next player to lock their LCQ spot up, but any takeaways from this match going forward? Man.
Well, I think for Blake, it's going to be just going back to the drawing board, figuring out what he can do better. He's a solid player in well, so that he.
Tapir is cutting out again, unfortunately, so might need a second before we get his full thoughts here.
There replace this here.
Tapir, you want to run back? You were cutting out a bit.
Is it good now?
Yeah.
This damn mic. Anyway, I apologize. I think for Red, it's going to be just a matter of running up the momentum a little bit. He's going to have to see just how far he can take this. Was a solid win over Blake in Game 7, and I think next time he's going to be looking for more of the same.
All right, Leah asking for quotes here. Thank you. And then for Blake here, I mean, also again, I mean, I'll read Blake's comments here, and then I'll just talk about Red's hand here. But for Blake, it was a good fight. That's true. While I would have loved to win this close, I've come to winning. That means I'm improving. Sooner or later, I'll win, and I'll eventually win again and again, so I finally be a good threat to the tournament. Until next time. We talked about how sometimes in these 15 card starts where you could get a lot on one hand. I mean, you see a really even split from Blake here, but you saw a lot of yellow from Red, and I mean, we talked about that for sure. I mean, any general takeaways from Red being able to use the wild to his advantage to close out Game 7 and get a very crucial win for his season? I think Tapir might be having some issues still. Okay, yeah.
Good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying about the hand, right?
The hand, because you saw Red had a lot of yellow there, and we talked about earlier how sometimes on the 15 card starts you could have like a bunch of one color and then just want to keep running it. So any comments on how Red was able to use the wilds to be able to maintain that and then just close it out to the end? Because I mean, you see, he only has one red. That was the last card he played, so able to hold off
the
on
last card just saved the red. Just saved the red for the very end there, because it kind of worked out in his favor there, because we didn't even see red the entire game. Now, had Blake had a lot more red, it would have been a very different series, to where KingOfRed would have had to sort of use more of the number efficiency and just light switch back and the colors back and forth. But he was able to run down the yellows here in a very convincing fashion, and then use those wilds at the right times to get himself the win. So that does cement what we were talking about, G, about with this bot. You really can't bank on it one way or the other. The stats and the probability say one thing, but there are games like this where you just have the right cards, and not having one green for Red really helped his case there, and obviously those wilds. So obviously with the game of Uno, there's a lot of luck to be had, but there's obviously a lot of skill as well. So there is a delicate balance there, and this, I think, was just a testament to the reality of both of those. So I think it was a solid series, and I am happy to see where Red goes from here.
All right. Well, I'll do. I mean, we'll look at the stats here. I mean, ultimately like the skip difference I think played the most impact in terms of the actual like numbers, but I do think a lot of the wild placement was big, especially with how it was spread across the series. But could be interesting to dissect this one afterwards. But let's take a look at the bracket again. Red gets the win here, moves on 4-3 in a very close one. He'll play the winner of Jamie Maswell, but with Red locked into the LCQ. Now at this point, he fights to just at least try to get some more wins to maybe get an at-large berth, not have to go through the LCQ. And that's really where his focus shifts now. But he does have that last resort to rely on, no matter how the rest of this tournament goes and how Justice July goes. So that is the important thing when passing that 5-win threshold. But right now, in a good spot to possibly get an at-large, especially with only 7 people officially locked into the LCQ, since the tournament winners are already in the DC Championship. So like that doesn't really matter. But again, it's going to be interesting to how this all ends up playing out. But Red at least has that security here going forward. But again, one more match tonight. It's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another player looking to lock up an LCQ spot with Cyan Titan taking on number 15 seed Hull. We will see who gets the job done there. We did see Aiden Smith not be unsuccessful earlier today, so we'll see if Cyan Titan can avoid the same fate. But going to be an interesting one to watch out for. But besides that, Tapir, any last comments on this match before we wrap things up?
No, not a whole lot. Just thank you, G, for streaming, and thank you, everyone. And once again, congrats to Red here.
All right. Well, that being said, that'll do it for us. Thank you all so much for watching. We have one more match tonight that'll be off stream. Make sure you check out the server. That'll be in the Barometer regions. But until then, I'm G-Man on behalf of the MRE UNO Commission team and everyone who came out to watch. We thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all next time for some more Meteorological May action. But until then, take it easy and have a great night, everyone.
This has been a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 2.